Hi and welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by to watch another process video today. This is my week 4 part 2 Project Life spread. It's just more photos from when we went away in week 4, so I just decided to make a week 4 continued spread. If you've been watching my previous videos, and I really hope you have been, you'll notice that I'm trying to use more of my stash up. So the cards and embellishments are things that I haven't used in a long time or left over from kits or things like that. And I've pulled from my stash to try and use them up more, especially these cards. Now, they might not be something that I would normally use, but I got them in kits and things like that, and I'm just really trying hard to use my stash. So I'm pulling out just about anything I can find, especially from past kits, and even though it's not usually my style, I'm trying really hard to use them so I can get through that stash. So these are photos from the Australia Day long weekend. We went away to visit friends in Newcastle for the long weekend, made an 8-hour road trip down from Tweed down to Newcastle. So we had a lot of photos from when we went on holiday, and instead of making a separate holiday layout, I just made a week 4 continued title card, no biggie, just so I know that these photos or this holiday trip was from the week before. Well, not really the week before, from the layout before, which was just my week 4 spread. So these are just our holiday photos from when we went to visit our friends, and then when we went down past Newcastle down to Sydney to go visit some school friends as well. So these are just photos from that trip. So I'm just working on my title card at the moment. I really struggled with my title card. I've been struggling with my title cards this week for some reason. It's like I've run out of ideas of things to embellish them with. This one was the start of my tragic embellishing attempt for my title cards this weekend. So I just looked for inspiration on YouTube videos, and yeah, eventually I find something that works. So working on my first photo now, this is just a picture of my Midorian lemonade. Yeah, that's my drink of choice when I'm relaxing and chilling out. Good old Midori and lemonade. And that little finger you see pointing to certain photos, that's Will, my youngest. Like I've mentioned before in my past videos, he always has a knack for coming in when I'm filming, and he likes to have a rundown of what all the photos are, and he tells me about who's in the photos and has a lovely chat about whatever photos he sees. So the card I'm about to work on now is, yes, that's a highway sign. That was the first sign on our highway leaving Tweed, 12 o'clock at night. Off we went down the highway for the start of our road trip, and this was the first sign we went past, and I decided to take a quick photo of it because, you know, us scrapbookers, we photograph everything, and I thought it'd be great for the start of our holiday trip Project Life section. Adding the date, very important. I'm adding the date a lot more lately. I'm remembering to add the date to individual photos. So this is the date we left on our trip, which was the 22nd. And then moving on to embellish the next photo. I leave the journaling until later on in the video. I think I actually go back to this entire spread right at the very end of the layout. I struggled a bit with this layout. It was a bit here and there, umming and ahhing over what to do, and then I gave up and walked away and then come back to it. I think it took me about 2 days to get it done. I start things and leave them on my desk and then come back to them when I get my mojo back. And I did that a bit with this layout. I just really struggled. I don't know why, and it frustrated me. So as I've talked about before, I'm just taking embellishments out of the tub that I sit on my desk. I keep this tub on my desk stocked with things from past kits or just bits and pieces from racks or pocket letters or things like that I've gotten that I want to use up. I put them on the bowl on my desk because I find if they're on my desk, I'm a lot more likely to use them. What I'll also do lately, especially lately, when I'm starting a spread, I'll go through my stash first and get a few things out that I'd like to work with, because I find if I'm in the middle of a layout, I don't get up from my desk to go through my stash. So I find if I go through my stash first, pull out some embellishments and things that I think would go with the layout and that I'd like to use, then I'm a lot more likely to use them up. I always just use whatever's on my desk. So if I have scraps of paper on my desk, I use that instead of going into my giant stash of washi tape. If I have my wood veneer out, I'll use that, sequins, things like that. So if it's on my desk within reach, it's much more likely to get used. So I've just used a puffy sticker from one of the Heidi Swap sticker booklets that was out a little while ago. I used the one that says Chow, and I've just put on a little strip tweed heads, and I've put that on the photo of the road sign, the highway sign of how many Ks to Sydney. Nothing too adventurous there, just I thought I was clever putting the Chow. It was pretty cool. And I will do my journaling on some strips later and add to that card. So now just working on my title card. Oh, I struggled so bad with this title card. I just couldn't get a flow happening. I couldn't get any ideas. I was lost. So I went and drew some inspiration from some YouTube videos and got back into it later. It took me a while. I think I go through my stash for a while just looking for something to put on it. It drove me crazy. So I go into my stash of Maggie Holmes flowers. I have a little container that I put all that ephemera in. It was the ones with all the flowers. I'm not sure which one it was. I think maybe Open Book. Not sure. But I had a whole bunch of them. I got them in a kit. Now, I've said it before. I have 2 sons, a husband, a dog, 2 nephews or boys. There's only me and my 2 sisters. We're the only girls in the family, so I do a lot of boy layouts. So I don't often get to use girly things, and I know that's not a very PC thing to say, but come on, flowers are predominantly girly. I know there are people that use them on boy layouts. I'm just not one of them. I use stars and things like that. Sorry about the tantrum going on behind me. Yeah, that was Will and his brother. They're not getting along at the moment, so I just had to take a time out to go deal with that. But back to the spread. Yeah, like I was saying, I like to use these things on my title cards because I don't get to use them in much of my layouts. Like I said, I'm not a flowers and hearts kind of masculine scrapper. I use stars and things like that. So all my little flowers that are beautiful and things, I just don't get to use them a lot on layout. So I like to use them on my title cards and in my project life because I find it's a lot easier to incorporate them in. So just adding my title back on, very creative there. Week 4 continued. Don't you love it? It didn't need a title card, but I just felt like putting one on at the time, so I did. And yeah, week 4 continued. Not very creative, but hey, it gets the job done. So yeah, I do mess around with my title card for a long time. In the end, I just decide to leave it and add the dates. I stamp onto a scrap piece of paper, date starting, date ending, cut it into a strip and just add it to the title card. I think it's once I get this title card done, things start to flow a bit better with the layout. As you can see, I have put some things on some of my cards. When I was going through my tub, I found things I thought I'd like to use, and I've laid them out. So once I get past the roadblock that is my title card, things start to flow a lot better and the layout comes together a lot faster. So adding some of my favourite clear rhinestones as a bit of bling. I really need to put more enamel dots on my desk because these are my go-to. I use these on just about every card, every spread. I really need to mix it up a bit, but I just love them so much. They go with everything. You don't have to colour coordinate them. Just put the clear on, bit of bling, works really good. So once the title card's done, moving on to the next, well, to the other side of my layout. You'll see in a minute. There we go. Normally I leave both sides out on my desk and work best I can, but I find when I'm recording it's easier if I move stuff out the way and work on one side at a time so I have the space. As you can see, my desk is very well loved. My craft mat is a mess, and no matter how much I clean it before I start, during a spread, there's crap everywhere. Now I have a decent sized desk. It's probably about 2 meters long. And my craft mat is the space I have to work on because everywhere else is just surrounded in stuff. Oh, I love my desk, I do, and it doesn't matter how big it gets, it'll always be that way. But yeah, so this is, I'm trying to work neater and cleaner, and for the sake of my videos, make it look a little better. But yeah, once I get into a spread, there's stuff everywhere. So I try to move one side out the way, work on one side at a time, so I can keep it all in frame. So this is just a bit of ephemera that I found in my tub, and I've just attached it with staples. Yes, that purple thing's my mini staple. I got it from Woolies, would you believe? It's awesome. It's my version of a tiny attacher. And it does the job. And I just attached it to one of those cards, and I'm going to journal on this pink love card about the photo of my best friend from school and her newborn. And of course adding some of that bling. I love that stuff. And you'll see in a second that I roughly draw some journaling lines and then handwrite straight onto my card. I like to mix up my journaling a lot. A lot of the time, if it's a lot of journaling, I'll type it in my typewriter font on my computer, print it off, cut it into strips and attach it. Other times I'll cut strips and handwrite on the strips and add it to photos and things. And another way I like to do it is the way I'm doing it now, just drawing some journaling lines and journaling straight onto the card. It's a good way to mix it up, but it's also a good way to keep my handwriting in my pages. You know, one day, many, many years down the track, my boys, you know, might like to look through and realise that that's my handwriting. My mum passed away last January, and been going through the old cards and things that she wrote for us, and I actually have her handwriting. She used to write her cards, "Love always, Mum," and I actually turned that into a cut file on my silhouette, and for Christmas I put it on a frame for my sisters. And I was able to do that because I had a piece of her handwriting, and it really means a lot. It really does, to be able to see that, because my mum had a very distinctive handwriting. And to be able to see that and know that that's my mum's handwriting, not just some typed up card or typed up sentiment. So I try and remember that. So I handwrite in my journal, and I try to handwrite on my layouts and things like that. So my boys will have that to look back on one day. So I just used my stapler to attach the Heidi Swap scripted word up the top there, and added a tiny word sticker, an Amy Tan one, and you know, that card's done. I'll add some journaling to that too. The one I'm working on now, this is my bestest friend from high school. We were like sisters, well, we still are now, thankfully, and you know, we were inseparable, and it's been so long since I seen her. I moved to Tweed Heads when I finished my HSC. My family moved up when I was in the middle of year 11, so I went back to finish my HSC and then came up here. So I've been up here about 13 years now, and since I moved, a lot of my friends have stayed. The Sydney area, obviously, and yeah, I don't get to see them as much as I'd like. I'm trying very hard to record between the outbursts of children, but it's just not working. So bear with me and we'll get this done and uploaded as soon as we can. So yeah, as I was saying, she was my best friend in high school. She still is one of my best friends now, but we were inseparable in high school. I was down living with my pop at the time while my family was up here, and I spent the weekends at her house. We were in art and photography together, and we were literally inseparable. And it's been so long since I seen her. So when we went down, I was in Newcastle, and my in-laws live in Rosemeadow, which is closer to Campbelltown where I went to school. And I messaged her and said, I'm going down to pick up a trailer from the in-laws. How about we stop for lunch? And I thought, I know it's short notice and you have a 1-year-old, but I thought I'd throw it out there. She messaged me back right away, I'll be there, what time? And it was amazing. This woman dropped everything with her 1-year-old just to come and meet me up for lunch. So I love her to death, and I'm so glad that we could do that. It had been far too long. I think it had been, oh gosh, what did she say, 7 years or so? So yeah, it was definitely long overdue. So I'm on a roll, and this layout's coming together pretty quickly now. This photo's from the other side of the spread, but I knew what I wanted to do as soon as I remembered I had it. I have these grey thickers and I love it. They're great. They're nice and small. And this little baby is my best mate's little boy. Now, he's only a couple months old. So we went down to catch up with them, and his name is Angus. And that's exactly what I'm spelling out on the card. And then one of those Amy Tan tiny word stickers that actually says meet cute or something like that. And I thought it was great. Meet cute Angus. It was great. So, yeah. I like to be able to put things like that straight onto the photos. So the fact that I could spell out his name because the thickers were small enough was awesome. So, like I said, back to the other side now. I never work chronologically. I jump from one card to the next, and I'll jump back to another one. I'm all over the place, so I just go with whatever's, flowing, and then I go back to the ones that I'm stuck on. So as you can see, very minimal is done. Just that bottom card, the title card, and the good old screenshot of Google Maps. It's one of the best, my favourite ways to fill a spread, especially when you're going on a road trip or something. Screenshot Google Maps or something like that. It's awesome. And then I found some of my Simple Stories icon stickers that went really well. So yeah, I just added that to the map. It was awesome. So like I said, I am journaling, writing my journaling on some strips and adding it to that card. Just writing about our trip, pretty much. That's what we did that week, the end of that week, just writing about our trip on there, and then I will attach those with some glue next to the photo. So now moving on to my filler card. I bought a whole bunch of the Mink little ephemera a while ago when I was playing with my laminator. Yes, my laminator. I don't have a Mink. I use my laminator. I was going to give it a try. But now that the mini Mink's coming, I think I might grab that because it's pretty cool. But anyway, I gave it a try and I just foiled a few things that I pretty much just experimenting and having a look. So I have a few of those in my bits and bobs container, and I grabbed this camera out because who doesn't love a good camera, and I'm gonna turn it into a filler card. So I've just grabbed some of my thin washi. I have a very small amount of washi on my desk. I have 2 massive containers full of washi, but can you ever be bothered getting up when you're in the middle of a spread and going through an entire tub and pulling boxes off your shelves? I can't. It's bad because of that I don't use my stash as much as I should. But I do have a few on my desk purely because I've been too lazy to put them away. And they're the ones I generally use when I know I just want a little bit of something. So I just grab from there. So I really should either get more out or get off my lazy butt and go through my massive stash. But yeah, and then I used a paper strip to make a banner. See? So lazy. But like I said, if it's on my desk, I'm going to use it. And these are my tiny word stickers. These stay on my desk permanently. That's why I use them so often. And I always trim mine down because I find the Simple Stories ones are just too fat. And there's a lot of excess paper that doesn't need to be there. And especially if you want to put more than one. So I just trim them down, put a few phrases on, bit of bling, and that's my filler card. I'm doing a lot more filler cards lately. When I first started Project Life, I thought you had to fill every space with a photo. Not doing that as much. As you can see, I think I've got like 3 blank 4x6 spaces, and I used a 3x4 in one of them and journaled on the other side. In the layout I did just yesterday, I used an entire 4x6 as just a filler card. That's something I wouldn't have done not too long ago. But I'm branching out a lot more, taking a lot more inspiration from some of my favourite YouTubers and just personalising it and making my own. So it's definitely coming in handy, and it's good to branch out and just, you know, put a bit of creativity in your spreads. Oh wow, look at that, we're done. So that's my layout. Thanks for watching. I hope you didn't mind all the rambling on, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for some more. I'll see you next time. Bye.